What is good, everybody? It's Casper. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the movie The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. So let's get straight to it. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, a 2018 movie. It's rated R and it's 2 hours and 13 minutes. It's directed by Ethan Coen and Joel Coen, so the Coen brothers on there. Starred by Tim Blake Nelson, Willie Watson, Clancy Brown, Danny McCarthy, James Franco, Liam Neeson. It's like 19th century Civil War era. This movie is about 6 stories into one movie. Each of those stories have their own unique tale and their own unique sense of presenting the message, and the message has a lesson in it. This whole movie is shot very well. The camera direction for this movie was very crispy, very sharp angles. The special effects as well in the movie, they did a good job. A lot of the kills, when the kills come through, they're actually hitting and they come out of nowhere, and it's like, whoa. I like the camera work in this movie. The camera work kept me in tune. Also with the lines and the acting in the movie, all on point. Beginning with Tim Blake Nelson as Buster Scruggs, a good way to start it off. That story is very quick and has, I would say, the most action. Right there is absolutely insane because Tim Blake Nelson in that, his performance was very good. I love his performance on Old Henry, and in this one right here, I think this is like the first time I saw his performance from anything, and this was a huge standout. Him being the shooter and all that fit the vibe very well. The singing fitted very well too. The camera was good. I like the acting, and it was like that quick action that was needed to keep people's attention, because this is a movie a lot of people will be like, they don't know what they're getting into. As the movie keeps going, the stories keep getting a little bit more, in my opinion, a little slower and more detailed. When the action hits, each story has its own action, but some of them is easy action and some of them is more hardcore action. Like I mentioned with the first story, I think that one was like the most action, that was quick and more sharp. Didn't have the craziest action scene, but story with the old dude trying to find the gold, I really like that one because you see how much hard work he put in there, and man, mad props to all that. It just gave me real feels of like, man, this dude woke up, went straight to work. And I like how, you know, they used the sun. When the sun went down, he was done working. I like that. There was small detail that I like. That story was one of my standouts. The James Franco story, pretty good as well. I like how he's a bank robber. His look fits it. Very minimal. Like in an abandoned area, there's just a bank. The composure of his character, I would say, did a very good job. It was one that you could really stare at, even though there wasn't too much action, but it was more of like in the medium action, because James Franco is trying to rob a bank, and then the bank teller finds out that he's trying to get robbed. Later in that scene, they start going on a little shootout. The bank teller uses the shotgun, but James Franco's story was on point. It for sure ran smoothly. That was a good story too. Liam Neeson, his story was okay. That was one of the action. It was very easy. It was more of, his story was about like he's an older dude who he travels. He's carrying a person who has no arms and no legs. Liam Neeson's character just sees him as money, as entertainment. He's trying to make bread, this is and that, but later in his story, Liam Neeson becomes a little greedy because the person who's hanging out with him, he can't do nothing without Liam Neeson. It's a very sad story as well, and that story right there is like, bruh, that really happened. If you haven't seen it, not trying to spoil it too much, I'm just letting you know, every story in here has its own emphasis of just straight, wow, that's amazing. He didn't have too much performance and just many lines. I think more of his look and his mannerisms and his posture and how he could just be, he looks presentable. He just looks presentable. That was like my third favorite one. Since I'm saying that, my favorite one was definitely the older dude with trying to find the gold. That was my favorite one. And the second one is the Tim Blake Nelson in the beginning as Buster Scruggs. But Liam Neeson did okay, and that story wasn't even a drag. The story with the girl, they're in a whole group and everyone's traveling together, just traveling very far. But with Alice, story was pretty good. It has its own little message as well, but that story was told very well because it had a twist. It was just showing in that story that a lot of things don't mix. She was trying to force things because of her brother and her family, saying that she got to move over here and start a life there, feeling very hesitant. And then with this story, meeting one of the leader dudes who's helping with the group, he ends up proposing to her and wants to get married to her, but then at the end, Alice goes off. I don't know why she went off and started wandering around. I think she went to go find the dog because they tried to get rid of the dog. From there, that story was told very well, and I really like how the movie had that vibe of whatever era that was, that 19th century Civil War era. It really felt from back then. All the props they used was on point. The costume design was well done. Everybody's emotion, everybody's vocabulary was clear. Even the language, some of the words they used, language back then was a lot different. This movie has really good stories. Like I said, they did a good job starting it off with the banger, fast action pace, pistol shooting, Buster Scruggs. The music behind every story on point. I could see a couple people getting bored of the movie because your attention can't grab that much. You end up starting to think it drags. Maybe to the final story, people might be like, oh, this is becoming a little too much. It is a lot of talking in this movie, but for me, very in tune and focused on the movie, right on point with the 2 hours that it was. Either way, this movie is a great movie to watch. Definitely a movie where if you put it on, a lot of people are not gonna know what to expect from this movie. Definitely a banger. After my watching The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10. So that's my movie review for the movie Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.